Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Monthly Beat by XLIVE, the community creating extraordinary live event experiences. Now, I'm feeling extra pumped today. I had a great Independence Day weekend, and I hope everyone here did too. And just a little tidbit about me, my father was in the Navy for 23 years, so I did grow up as a military brat, moving around and all that. So holidays like Independence Day just hold a little bit more weight for me. I feel like I'm just feeling really good, and I hope everyone is too. And I could not think of a better way to start this video by talking about this music festival in Germany that was set to take place in June. Locals of a small German town purchased the town's entire beer supply ahead of a far-right music festival that was set to take place inside the town of Ostritz. And by far-right, I mean, yes, we're talking about a neo-Nazi festival. Ahead of the festival, a German court imposed a ban on alcohol upon entry into the town, and anticipating that attendees would just buy alcohol once they got there, local citizens planned like a week in advance to just buy out all the beer in an attempt to, quote, drive the Nazis out. This simple yet genius plan was praised by local officials who loved the initiative of the local citizens, all while stocking up on their beer supply, so it was kind of a win-win. And this just goes to show that you can stand up to fascism and have fun while doing it. And in recent weeks, a couple of new music festivals have been announced. First of all, C3, producers of Lollapalooza in Chicago and Austin City Limits in Texas, has announced Metarama, a first-of-its-kind music festival which will blend the worlds of live music and esports. The event will take place October 19th and 20th at the Las Vegas Festival Grounds and boasts a pretty impressive lineup, which includes Marshmello, Logic, and Snoop Dogg, and that's just the music lineup. The event has also booked comedians, YouTubers, and streamers to round out the bill. I believe as the music festival industry continues to evolve, some of the most successful events will be the ones with such a honed-in niche as this music festival esports hybrid event. And I think this is just the beginning of a very important trend that we're already beginning to see. And just a month after that, Sin City is going to be popping off again with Travis Scott, J. Cole, and Kendrick headlining a brand new hip-hop festival called Day in Vegas. The event is being produced by Golden Voice, so expectations are high for the producers of Coachella. But if the lineup is any sign, this is set to be a pretty incredible event because in addition to those huge headliners, you can see the likes of Juice WRLD, Migos, Brockhampton, and many more at the event. Day in Vegas will take place at the Las Vegas Festival Grounds from November 1st through the 3rd, and tickets are already on sale at daynvegas2019.com. And finally, a new fiasco in Belgium is being compared to the Fyre Festival, with some calling it Fyre Festival 2.0. So Festivale in Belgium recently took place in June. Well, it kind of took place. Basically, people showed up to the event only to realize that it was canceled with no advance announcement. Many took to Twitter to document the horror, with many saying that apart from the stage, there were no other signs that a festival was even taking place. Thousands of attendees were stuck inside the venue with no coordinated exit plan, food, or water, with many spending thousands of dollars to get there, having traveled from out of country. Festival organizers eventually cited security and logistical issues, but there was no specificity given, and the credibility of these claims are being questioned. So an investigation is currently underway on suspicions of fraud. And now a couple of really interesting things happening in the tech world. Live Nation just announced a suite of augmented reality applications to engage fans at live music events, and they're partnering with Hyundai to debut them at the Music Midtown Festival in September. While the initial announcement included 5 or 6 AR apps, a couple of my favorites were AR Livestream, where viewers can point their phones at a flat surface, so like at a table, from which a 3-dimensional view of the stage in real time will appear, and you can view select performances from that view, which I think that is probably the coolest thing. And then AR Intermission. Through AR Intermission, brands can creatively redesign and reimagine the stage. So during changeovers and intermissions in between sets, attendees can point their phones at the stage and see, what Fritos would imagine for this stage, or what KFC imagined for this stage, for example. They are not sponsors of this video. They were just the most recent things I ate, so yes. And then my last story of the day is really saving the best for last. So the New York Times released an article titled, "These influencers aren't flesh and blood, yet millions follow them." And I have to admit, as socially active as I am not one of the millions that followed what they're calling virtual influencers. As the article explains, virtual influencers are completely artificial, fabricated, digitized personas or avatars that look and act and sound online like human influencers. Slowly but surely, virtual influencers are gaining traction with brands as it creates this potential to just create the perfect human or the perfect brand ambassador, as opposed to partnering with an influencer and aligning values and approving content. The alternative is brands can just own this persona that looks and sounds like a person online. So some examples of virtual influencers today are KFC's Colonel Sanders, Xinhua, the Chinese government's virtual news anchor, and I am very, very sorry if I butchered that pronunciation, and perhaps most popular, Michaela Souza, aka Lil Michaela. So Lil Michaela started off as an Instagram profile in 2016, but since then she has like 1.6 million Instagram followers. She did an Instagram takeover of Vogue during Milan Fashion Week. She did a commercial with Calvin Klein and Bella Hadid, one of the top models in the world. She's got a Spotify channel where she's pushing out music. And as events like Coachella have shown, there's enormous potential for return as event organizers use influencers to help add brand value and promote their events. I talked a little bit about that in the June edition of the Monthly Beat, so I'll make sure to include the link to that video in the description below. So as virtual influencers begin to penetrate the market, it begs the question, when are we gonna start seeing virtual influencers attending the major music festivals that we all know and love? In my opinion, I think we've got a little bit of time. You know, music festivals are so rooted in human connection and authenticity that, you know, despite how bizarre yet incredible the technology is, I just don't think people are gonna take well to digital influencers having these experiences at music festivals. I think we saw a little bit about that at Ultra this past year, where KFC sponsored a changeover set, and during this 5 minutes, they had a DJ Colonel Sanders perform a set, and I did a whole Beat Stop video on that, so I'll link to that if I'm able to, because it's off channel. But basically people were confused, and some people were pretty insulted, and it just didn't really make sense because they took what is typically a human experience and they put a caricature of a brand in place of what could have been a person. And as the article states, you know, virtual influencers are much less engaged with online than their human counterparts. So, you know, I think we got a little bit of time until the robots take over, at least if you're a digital influencer. And before I wrap this up, I just had to announce that the annual XLIVE conference in Vegas has been announced, and tickets are now on sale at xlivecon.com. If you have not been, it is 3 days in Vegas, taking place in November this year, with events and speakers from all corners of the industry, people from esports, music festivals, film festivals, really the whole gamut. So if you're a live event professional like me and you want to network and learn from industry leaders, go to xlivecon.com and register today. And don't forget to follow XLIVE on social media, XLiveCon on Facebook and Instagram, to stay up to date with the latest from XLIVE. As always, I'm going to end with highlights of some upcoming events. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you in August.